Alright, I thought it would be fun to just take a little walk around the world. Um, if we're thinking of walking to Fenway Park for opening day, well, this is what we'd be up against. We'd have, it's going to be about 2.4 inches for every 2 miles. So if we're going from Saugus over here to Boston, we're going to go through 1, 2, 3, 4 of these 2.4 inches. I measured them against my 2 miles, as you see right over here. So I'd have to solve my proportion. I have 2.4 times x, actually equal, well, I'd have to do 9.6 times 2 out over here. You can see there we get 19.2, and we get that equal to 2.4 times x, and I'm just going to do 19.2 divided by 2.4 now. Slide the decimal over, slide the decimal over here too. So it'll be about 8 miles. So you gotta be pretty physically fit to go to Boston. And not only that, you're gonna have to cross through some dangerous streets, not to mention a little bit of a river right over here. So you want to bring some swim trunks. I'd recommend taking a car. Thinking of skipping out of the winter next year and going to the beaches of Miami, perhaps it is a good idea to swim in this case. So again, let's bring some swimming trunks. Looks like I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and a little bit of a fifth one. So I'm calling that 10.5. 2.5 times x equals 10.5 times 500. Big numbers. Alright. 500 times 10.5. Decimals since we're multiplying. Yay, we're traveling around the world. 5,250. So we have 2.5x equals 5,250. Divided by 2.5, divided by 2.5. So we end up getting x to equal 2,100 kilometers. My suggestion would be to use a plane to get there. Use a plane. Alright, in order to gain a better understanding of your project for Mrs. Buxton, or maybe Mrs. Romano, who knows, you decide to swim and walk to Austria. Is that a good idea? Using proportions, we're going to decide if this is a good idea. Math is useful for those things. So I have 2.5 times x. Let's see. 2.5 x equals 1,000 times 10. And again, I just looked at my my little scale here, and I realized, hey, one of these things equals 1,000 miles. So I copied that thing 4 times, and I wound up in Austria. 1,000 times 10 is 10,000. And we have 2.5x divided by 2.5 on both of the sides. And now I have to figure out, well, 2.5, how many times does that go into 10,000? Dividing by a decimal here, so I gotta slide my decimal over. I'm gonna slide the decimal over here too, so the decimal actually goes right there. My decimal's gonna go right there in my answer. 25 goes into 100 4 times, and then it's gonna go into 0, 0 times. It's gonna go into that 0, 0 times. It's gonna go into that 0, 0 times. Looks like 4,000. So we would have to swim and walk 4,000 miles. Using math as my reasoning, I would say it's not a good idea, even though you want to do well for Mrs. Buxton and Mrs. Romano, to swim and walk to Austria. Especially because when you get to Austria, there's these mountains called the Alps. It's a really hard walk. So even if you are physically fit, the 4,000 miles will take its toll on you. My advice is just to do the research, maybe through a book, through the internet, or even stay after school and get extra help on the assignment. That's it for now, but if you ever want to use scales, ratios, figure out how far things are, see if it's a good idea to walk, feel free.